Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Dwivedi, and in this segment we bring to you objective questions on a daily basis to help you crack prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of the last segment. Which of the following are the consequences of cyclones? Heavy rainfall, landslides, damage to ecosystem, increase in the fiscal burden of the governments. So we have to select the correct statement. Okay, so correct answers to with the respect of cyclones, we have to understand that yes, it is carried on by heavy rainfall. Landslides can occur where soil is loose, and damage to ecosystem also occurs because the entire pattern changes for a short period of time. And in order to do the rehabilitation procedure, there is an increment in the fiscal burden of the government treasures. So all are correct. The correct answer is option D. As many as 7 low pressure areas have formed in the North Indian Ocean region since October 1st, 2021. But none of them have intensified into a cyclone. And this is unusual. October and November constitute the peak cyclone season for India. That is according to the IMD. Every year around 5 to 6 tropical cyclones are formed in the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. And of these, 2 to 3 turn severe. The Indian coastline is around 7,500 kilometers. That is including the islands. There are 96 coastal districts which touch the coast or are close to it, with 262 million people exposed to cyclones and tsunamis, and there are various harmful effects of cyclones such as heavy rainfall, landslides, and they harm the ecosystem of the surrounding region. Cyclones are also leading to an increase in the fiscal burden of the governments through increased spending to implement effective cyclone preparation measures. Moving on, consider the following statements. The tiger reserves are constituted on a core buffer strategy as stated in the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, and the core areas have the legal status of a national park or sanctuary. The Project Tiger aims to foster an exclusive tiger agenda in the core areas of the tiger reserve with an exclusive people-oriented agenda in the buffer. So we have to select the correct statement. Yes, the tiger reserves are constituted on a core buffer strategy as stated in the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, and the core areas have the legal status of a national park or sanctuary. First and second are correct. Third is also correct, that the Project Tiger aims to foster an exclusive tiger agenda in the core areas of tiger reserve, which has an inclusive people-oriented agenda in the buffer so that community can participate when we talk about having an increased and dedicated approach towards conserving such important species. So all are correct. The correct answer is option D. A day after a woman park ranger was mauled to death by a tigress in the core area of the Doba Andhari Tiger Reserve in Chandrapur district of Maharashtra, the CM of Maharashtra announced an ex gratia compensation of rupees 15 lakh for the family of the deceased. And according to WPA of 1972, a tiger reserve must have a core or critical habitat that is completely undisturbed and a buffer zone peripheral to it. Also, the core area is established in a national park or sanctuary. The Project Tiger aims to foster an exclusive tiger agenda in the core area of the tiger reserve with an inclusive people-oriented agenda in the buffer, and the buffer area is aimed at promoting coexistence between wildlife and human activity. With reference to strategic petroleum reserves, consider the following statements. SPR are huge stockpiles of crude oil to deal with any crude oil related crises. The International Energy Agency helps coordinate member countries to release SPR oil into markets. India has the highest SPR. So we have to select the correct statement. First is correct, that strategic petroleum reserves are huge stockpiles of crude oil. If there is any sort of crisis which occurs to disrupt the supply chain of crude oil, the International Energy Agency helps coordinate member countries to release SPR oil into markets. But India doesn't have the highest SPR. We will know why. First and second are correct. The correct answer to this question is option A. In wake of the 2022 midterm elections in the US, the Biden administration is considering tapping the US strategic petroleum reserves to check rising oil prices. Strategic petroleum reserves are huge stockpiles of crude oil to deal with any crude oil crises like the risk of supply disruption from natural disasters, war, or other calamities. The concept of dedicated strategic reserve was first mooted in the year 1973. That was in the US. After the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries oil crisis occurred. The IEA, that is International Energy Agency, helps coordinate member releases, provides data on levels and play other roles as well. IEA also suggests measures to restrain demand or otherwise help supply. Three biggest strategic petroleum reserves are with Japan, US and China. Moving on, consider the following statements. This is for an agency. It was established in 1945 by a UN charter. Its headquarters is in The Hague, Netherlands. It settles legal dispute between member countries. So we have to select the appropriate organization with the help of the statements which were briefly described above. And let's have a look at them. International Court of Justice, International Criminal Court, UNSC, Permanent Court of Arbitration. We have to select from amongst these topics. The correct answer is option A, International Court of Justice. Let's know about ICJ. ICJ is a principal judicial organization of the UN, which was established in 1945 by a UN charter and began working in 1946 as the successor to the Permanent Court of International Justice. It settles legal disputes between member countries and gives advisory opinions to authorized UN organs and specialized agencies. It is seated in the Peace Palace of Hague, Netherlands. Moving on, consider the following statements. India is the largest producer of fish through aquaculture in the world. On the occasion of World Fisheries Day 2021, Andhra Pradesh was adjudged Best Performer. In inland fisheries, Balaghat in Madhya Pradesh received the award for the Best District in Inland Fisheries. So we have to select the correct statement. India is not the largest producer of fish, but second largest producer of the fish through aquaculture in the world. So first is incorrect. Second is also incorrect because on this occasion of the World Fisheries Day of 2021, Telangana was adjudged Best Performer in Inland Fisheries. And third is correct, that Balaghat in MP received the award for Best District in Inland Fisheries. So the correct answer should be option C. World Fisheries Day is observed on the 21st of November every year. It is celebrated to demonstrate solidarity with all fisherfolk, fish farmer and concerned stakeholders throughout the world. India is the second major producer of fish through aquaculture in the world, and Telangana was adjudged Best Performer in Inland Fisheries, while Andhra Pradesh was named the best marine state in the country by the centre recently. Balasore in Odisha was named Best Marine District, and Balaghat in Madhya Pradesh received the award for Best District in Inland Fisheries. The award for the Best Hilly and Northeastern State in the sector was given to Tripura. Bongaigaon in Assam received the award in this category for being Best District. With reference to repealing a law, consider the following statements. The Parliament of India derives its powers to repeal a law from the same constitutional provision from which it derives the power to enact a law. The Parliament does not have to enact another legislation to repeal a law if the law has a sunset clause. So we have to select the incorrect statement. Both the statements are correct. The correct answer is option D. Recently, the PM has announced to repeal of the three contentious farm laws, which had witnessed protests from the farmers, mainly from Punjab and Haryana on the borders of Delhi for more than a year. Article 245 of the Constitution gives Parliament the power to make laws for the whole or any part of India, and state legislatures the power to make laws for the state. Parliament draws its power to repeal a law from the same provision. For repeal, the power of the Parliament is the same as enacting a law under the Constitution, and a legislation can also have a sunset clause, a particular date after which they cease to exist. Moving on. For example, the Antiterror legislation, Terrorist and Disruptive Activities Act of 1987, which is commonly known as the TADA, had a sunset clause and was allowed to lapse in 1995. For laws that do not have a sunset clause, Parliament has to pass another legislation to repeal the law. Laws can be repealed in two ways, either through an ordinance or through legislation. Moving on. Consider the following statements with respect to Swachch Survekshan 2021. Indore has been awarded the cleanest city, and it is for the 4th consecutive year that Indore has won this award. Vijayawada and Surat were awarded 2nd and 3rd rank respectively, so we have to select the correct statement. The first statement is correct, that Indore has been awarded the cleanest city. Second is incorrect because it is for the 5th consecutive year that Indore has won this award. So second is incorrect, first is correct, remember this. And Vijayawada was ranked 3rd, Surat was ranked 2nd in the same category. So second, third incorrect, first is correct. The correct answer should be option B, one only. The President of India, Ramnath Kovind, on November 20, 2021 conferred awards to 342 cleanest cities of India at the Swachch Amrit Mahotsav as part of Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2.0 by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs at Vigyan Bhavan of New Delhi. And under the Swachh Survekshan 2021, Indore has been awarded the Cleanest City of India Award. It is for the 5th consecutive year in the more than 1 lakh population region, and this category was followed by Surat and Vijayawada on the 2nd and 3rd rank respectively. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to the Indira Gandhi Prize. It is awarded to individuals or organizations to honor their effort in promoting international peace only. In order to be eligible for the award, a written work must be published, so we have to select the correct statement. Second is definitely correct. First is not, because there is also one more category and several other categories in addition. So first is incorrect, second is correct. The correct answer is option B. Pratham, a pioneering civil society organization dedicated to improving the quality of education for underprivileged children in India and across the world, has been awarded the Indira Gandhi Peace Prize Award. It is awarded to individuals or organizations to honor their efforts in promoting international peace, development, and a new international economic order. Also, additional endeavors include scientific discoveries used for the benefit of humanity and enlarging the scope of freedom. In order to be eligible for this award, a written work must be published. The panel constituted by the Indira Gandhi Memorial Trust. It consists of national and international personalities of note along with previous recipients. The recipients are chosen from a pool of national and international nominees. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements with respect to the Isram Portal. In registration, West Bengal, Odisha, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar have the highest average growth rates. The top 5 categories are agriculture, construction, apparel, automobile and transportation, and household and domestic workers. So we have to select the correct statement. Both the statements are correct. The correct answer is option C. More than 8.4 crore unorganized workers have registered at the Isram Portal till now. The number of unorganized sector workers registration at the portal has been rising steadily over the 12 weeks since its launch. The Ministry of Labour and Employment launched the Isram Portal. The aim is to register 38 crore unorganized workers such as construction laborers, migrant workforce, street vendors, and domestic workers among others. The workers will be issued an eShram card containing a 12-digit unique number, and if a worker is registered on the eShram portal and meets with an accident, he or she will be eligible for 2 lakh on death or permanent disability and 1 lakh on partial disability. The registration of unorganized worker in the eShram portal can be through Common Service Center, self, or through State Seva Kendras. Over the past 12 weeks, West Bengal, Odisha, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar have the highest average growth rates. It is more than 15% regarding the registration of workers at the eShram portal. The top 5 categories are agriculture, construction, apparel, automobile and transportation, and household and domestic workers. Moving on to the next question, consider the following countries: Latvia, Belarus, Slovenia, Poland, Russia. Which of the countries given above do not have a border with Lithuania? The correct answer should be option C, that is 3 only. Slovenia doesn't have a border with Lithuania. China has officially downgraded its diplomatic ties with Lithuania after it allowed Taiwan to open a de facto embassy in Vilnius. Lithuania is a country in the Baltic region of Europe, and it is one of the 3 Baltic states and lies on the eastern shore of the Baltic Sea. It shares a border with Latvia, Belarus, Poland, and Russia to the southwest. Its capital and largest city is Vilnius. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to Rani Gaidinliu. She belonged to the Rongme tribe. She led the Hiraka movement. She was awarded the Birsa Munda Award posthumously. We have to select the correct statement. All these statements are correct. The correct answer is option D. Home Minister Amit Shah will lay the foundation stone for setting up the Rani Gaidinliu Tribal Freedom Fighters Museum at 𝐾𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢 village in Manipur's Tamenglong district via video conferencing today. The project has been sanctioned by the Union Ministry of Tribal Affairs at an estimated cost of 15 crore rupees. Rani Gaidinliu was born on January 26, 1915 at 𝐾𝐞𝐚𝐝. She belonged to the Rongme tribe, which is a major Naga tribe. At the tender age of 13, she joined her cousin Haipao Jadonang's Heraka movement. In 1931, the British arrested and hanged him. After this, Rani Gaidinliu led the Heraka movement, and she was awarded the Birsa Munda Award posthumously. Moving on to the next question, that is the practice question for our next segment. Consider the following statements regarding Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. The Ministry of Finance is the nodal ministry for the implementation of the scheme. The scheme aims to provide an additional 5 kg grain to all the beneficiaries covered under the NFSA of 2013. So we have to select the incorrect statements. I hope you'll be answering it correctly in the comment segment. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.